Eswatini is one of 196 countries that adopted the Paris Agreement, which commits member states to reduce their emissions and work together to adapt to the impacts of climate change. To help countries reach their climate goals, UNDP, through its Climate Promise, in collaboration with the NDC Partnership, is working with 120 countries and territories to reduce carbon emissions and provide technical and coordination support to governments in crafting a long-term, low-emission development strategy, also referred to as the LT-LEDS, a comprehensive plan designed to guide countries towards carbon neutrality by 2050.
One of the challenges which all governments face, and the United Kingdom government is not immune from this, is developing a long-term strategy and maintaining progress in its implementation. I've only been here 3 years, but I've experienced and been part of the development of a number of strategies and action plans in different areas. But then you go through elections, a new government's appointed, and that plan or strategy seems to be shelved and another one is under development. And we end up just drafting strategies which are not actually implementing the actions that they're designed to underpin. So I think, that's partly the responsibility of the civil service, who remain in place even when ministers change. It's partly the responsibility of civil society and Parliament to hold government to account for the implementation of those strategies. Obviously, we as development partners can play a small part, but it's not for us to dictate the direction of programming and policy, but to share our experience and encourage those in Eswatini who have a role to play to do so with a long-term commitment and to sustain that commitment in order to deliver the results. Having that strategy will assist in getting access to climate finance and expertise from outside of the country, not necessarily from the UK, but potentially from the UK. I mean, we are a major contributor to climate finance. The Global Environmental Facility, which has already been mentioned today, we were in the last cycle the second largest contributor at $250 million. In the next one, we've raised that to $330 million. So there is finance available, there's expertise available. The strategy will hopefully allow you to access both the finance and the expertise.
In crafting its LT-LEDS, UNDP, in collaboration with Eswatini Environment Authority and other partners, facilitated several stakeholder engagements to get inputs and raise awareness about the strategy.
I'm part of the Eswatini Climate Change Youth Parliament, representing the Hoho region. I'm also part of Hlumisa Eswatini, which is a youth climate network where we advocate for young people to be in the policy spaces and advocating for climate action within the country. And most recently, I'm the director of EcoHarmony, which is working on empowering young people within the circular economy. I'd really like to commend the government's efforts of trying to always involve the young people. Through institutions such as the Eswatini Climate Change Youth Parliament, we have been involved in some policy processes related to water as well as agriculture. I'd like to encourage more intentionality of further capacitating young people on the technical know-how of policy processes, because they can be very scientific and sometimes they can go over your head. But if more young people can be capacitated on that, we can be able to give back more informed decision-making into the policy processes and properly representing the voices of all young people, despite the economic background or the different geographies that we come from. I think it's very important that all stakeholders are involved in this process so that it can have a sustainability and have it long-lasting. Once an approach is bottom-up, everyone as a stakeholder finds value in being the proper owners of this process. I think it's important for the young people to be involved, because at the end of the day, we are the leaders that are going to be left with the institution of continuing creating a sustainable environment for the country of Eswatini. I think to create more awareness of this, I'd like us to use the power of social media, because of most of young people are there, simplifying the mission, the terminology within this thing so that it's understandable to everyone. Infiltrating schools down from primary all the way to tertiary so that everyone is available. and learn about it, whether they're in the rural or urban areas. And most importantly, I'd like it to be in Siswati so that it can be properly understood by all stakeholders that are needed in this process.
The LT-LEDS will help Eswatini achieve its climate action vision for 2050. It is scheduled to be finalized and adopted by 2025.